come February the 25th of next month, a new president will be announced to lead the country for the next 4 years. Now, for the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, he revealed his plans of what he would do if he becomes president of Nigeria at the Chatham House in London on Monday. He spoke on insecurity, ethnic tensions, and the IPOB agitations, likewise improving the rising poverty rate in Nigeria.
Once we move from consumption to production, what we are going to do first is that what you see today, we inability to service our debts, is because of fiscal rascality. You're paying unsustainable subsidy. What I was doing as governor, I was the best governor in Millennium Development Goals by the UNDP. You can go and check that. Is that? I won a prize for the best road network. I won the Gay Prize back-to-back on health. You can go and see what I did in health. Build scratch, teaching hospitals and everything. Improved #1 in education. And above all, I was able to save because I believe in future generation. If you look at that savings, I said future generation funding because we want to have proper capital formation to drive tomorrow. If I have opportunity in Nigeria, no matter what we do, we'll do the same thing. We must save for tomorrow. Because that's how you fund capital to turn around tomorrow. So as an end, I appeal to all of you. There's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time have come. Thank you.
Well, joining us in the studio is Public Affairs Analyst Ziggy Ibe and Organizing Secretary, Labour Party LGA, Nsabasi Ekanem. Gentlemen, good morning. It's good to have you on the program this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Right. That conversation from the Labour Party presidential candidate has been generating a lot of reactions. And to some persons, they have even called this matter of where presidential candidates go to Chatham House, seeing it as a Chatham House effect, so to speak. But my concern is how much, what is the significance of having this conversation with those in the diaspora, having the understanding that these persons are not necessarily the people that will be out there voting?
Well, let me begin by expressing my unreserved gratitude to Mr. Peter Obi for engaging with Nigerians abroad and, of course, helping us to clean up our image in the diaspora, our image globally, following the international embarrassment and utter disgrace that we suffered in the hands of the APC presidential candidate who went to Chatham House and started sharing questions.
Everybody has their strategy, don't you think?
Yes.
When they want to address a matter.
It is very unfortunate because I have interviewed several people for positions and I've never in any time asked people to delegate questions. You are the commander-in-chief,
of course,
and you are supposed to take charge of the situation. Now, this is it. When you become the commander-in-chief, right, you can delegate duties. But while you are vying for that position, you must be able to have a hands-on response to every question with regards to how to govern a country because you are the commander-in-chief. Now, if you know what we have faced in the past 8 years, you remember that some people who are now in government at some point said, no, I did not say that. When people referred them back to their manifesto, they said, I did not say that, I wasn't aware of that.
Right.
And that is because, we allow surrogates to take charge of, responsibility that ought to be handled by, the person himself. And I will tell you this, there's been a lot of reactions. In fact, I remember that time I had a lot of my colleagues abroad that told me that the performance of Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually rendered a whole lot of embarrassment to them as Nigerians abroad. In fact, some of their colleagues who were Americans, British, they were almost
That you haven't seen something happen
them.
before, does that necessarily translate to an embarrassment?
If we see something in the positive, innovation in the positive
Who
direction.
determines what is positive and negative?
Well, I mean, as much as you and I know, it is embarrassing for somebody who is asked a question. He did not attempt a single question. He assigned the question to people, and unfortunately, he assigned the question on security to someone like in Erofai, whose state has been taken over by bandits. How do you expect Nigerians, both at home and abroad?
And what did he call that at the end of the day?
Well, you call it teamship, and I wonder how you would assign, even if you want to assign question, which in the first place is not a good thing, but assigning to somebody who could not handle security, that over 10 of his local government have been taken over by bandits. I mean, it's a total mess, I would describe it that way.
And so you think that your principal's outing has cleaned up all of that?
And of course, you could see the response from Nigeria's former ambassador to the former high commissioner to the UK, who said that he enjoyed, on his Twitter handle, is there for everybody to see, who said they enjoyed every moment that he listened to our incoming president, Mr. Peter Obi, and he also said that this is the kind of people that Nigeria needs. Now let me put something again clear to you.
Right.
After the event, compare both scenarios. After Bola Ahmed
This is not a room for comparison.
No.
The issue is your principal.
Yes,
so for you to have a better time to addressing matters, I think that we should focus on the issues.
Okay, let's focus on the issues. All right, the issues are here that this man went to Chatham House, expound his ideas, told us how he's going to tackle insecurity, how he's going to tackle agitations. All right, because when people talk about agitation, it goes beyond IPOB. We have the Yoruba Nation, we have the Boko Haram, we have the bandits in the Northwest. These are agitations that are happening almost everywhere in the country. And he said something very clear there, that there's no way you can have up to close to 40% unemployment rate in the country and up to 60% youth unemployment in the country, and you will not have agitations. And even said that in the UK, for example, if you have up to 50% unemployment, 15% unemployment, you are going to have lots of agitations. And it said that rather than the stick up or the all stick approach, he will use the carrot and stick approach. What will he do? He will first of all have that conversation with the agitators and look at ways he can build an inclusive government, that there's equity, there's fairness and justice. Not an Emilokon kind of government where it is my turn, but a government which is our turn, our locon, where all of us come together on the table, have a consensus on how to carry everybody along. That way, he will eliminate most of the agitation.
I believe that's a high point of the conversation for you.
Absolutely.
Right. Let me come to you, Ziggy Ube. You obviously watched that the outing of
I took
Peter
my time
Obi.
to listen.
What were your impressions of his outing? Did you think he was vocal enough that he addressed the issues as it should?
As a matter of honesty, I was disappointed.
Right.
Yeah.
Why?
There was a point he made here, but let me address that first. Peter Obi is the single highest individual in Nigeria that imports consumables. And he keeps telling the whole world that he is going to change the narration from the consumption to production. A single person who is the highest importer of some of these goods.
So?
That's what he said.
Yeah,
in the Chatham House, let's go back to the Chatham House. The first turn-off to me is he went there with a prepared speech.
Okay.
Which is totally off from what any leader who is prepared to rule a country will do. Okay. You don't go with a prepared speech and answer questions extempore. It doesn't work that way. Because you are going to a place where you tell people your plans from your heart. Going there prepared on a scripted means you don't know what the country, because you are not going to be asked questions, tailored questions. You are going to be asked questions rampantly, ranging from anything in the country. So you must tell us at that point, not a prepared speech written by someone. That thoughts are not coming from him.
You think so?
So yes, they're not coming from him. They're not. So for him to have read from a prepared speech means those thoughts came from someone. Then questions thrown at him or to him.
Is there a proof that he didn't write that speech?
I wasn't there when he was written, but if a speech is prepared for someone to read,
right,
those wouldn't make your total thought. It will not. And look at vis-a-vis questions thrown at him. He couldn't balance them. He couldn't. He was wavering at a point. When he was asked how he's going to tackle electricity in the country, he couldn't get the question right. Even on the healthcare, he keeps saying, if I couldn't do it, I'll borrow, or there's nothing wrong. What is your policy? What is the direction you are going to take? Give us an itemized idea.
He spoke about
how things would be done
with regards to healthcare.
Yes, but at a point he couldn't conclude it. He said, I would ask other countries if I couldn't do it. That's not why you were there. You were there to tell Nigerians, both home and abroad, how you are going to face that economic challenge. So he didn't. He missed it. He didn't. He was asked about when he was comparing the megawatts we are generating now. He couldn't. He mixed it too. So his stats and his economic policies were not in tandem with what he read from the book. Because after reading, I said, okay, go back to questions thrown at him, because those questions will not be in line with what, when you come prepared, not a written script, questions certainly would generate from what you give as a speech. Bola Tinubu went to Chatham House without a written script. He didn't. He went and poured out what came from his heart.
Right.
The understanding he had from the instructor, because he has been around. We are not looking for a learner on the job. We are looking for someone who has been around. Okay, so someone who comes to deliver, someone not someone who comes to learn on the job. So from the way he went about it yesterday, it means he didn't know what to do. He was limiting himself to Anambra, and he was talking about insecurity. My colleague here talked about Peter El-Rufai,
yes,
who was outsourced to answer a question, yes, on security. Peter Obi ruled Anambra for good 8 years. And as we speak, Anambra has been taken over by IPOB and the other criminalities. So, if you are telling us about insecurity, and as we speak, your home is enveloped and captured by insecurity. In fact, most of the campaign schedules he has for his hometown or for his Anambra state were all skipped on Mondays. He would have made a louder statement if you were actually an agent of correction of what is going on in his country. What the state? What he would have done is to put those schedules on Mondays to really tell these people that when he gets into power, he will be able to tackle all the insecurities. But he skipped Mondays. Mondays are sit
as we speak. But some will say he's not the governor of the state as we speak.
This thing stems from somewhere. It started with problem just doesn't start. Problems have a beginning.
Yes.
It starts where it starts. Yes. It has a beginning. Mm-hmm. P2B, this insecurity starts when P2B was in the government.
Right.
Yes. So, and okay, now let's come home. Southeast has been enmeshed in insecurity. P2B was a governor in Anambra. Okay? And since that time, this man has not been able to address this issue as a concerned citizen, as someone who is coming from that environment, who is coming from Southeast or from that region. I think he should have started by helping us to wade into this.
How?
He couldn't. He said he would discuss with the elements.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Are you saying he cannot do that now, even at the level he is? He can. Who say he cannot? He has all the connections with the leaders of the Southeast, right?
Yeah.
Because as a unifier, he called himself, he should be able to call everyone who is concerned in his region. When such happens in Tinubu's region, it was quelled. The Yoruba nation, you know, at a point it was rearing its ugly head.
Yes.
And at a point it was killed, led by Ibuho. Today, was it not? It was quelled, it was stopped. So these are things we expect from leaders
He should walk the talk.
who tell us this and do some other thing.
Right.
Insecurity, as we speak, is ravaging your region. And you are telling us that when you get there, is it until you get there before you start having their
Engaging them.
Yes, before you start engaging them. No, you should start by now. I said the first you could have done to make a louder statement is to fix his campaign days on Mondays, that he sit at home in the Southeast. But all of them were skipped, meaning that you are entangled with them. Now he was asked about IPOB and
Yes, and he said it's about the matter of poverty.
Yes.
Was one of the issues that triggered that.
How much of elevations, how much has he elevated the people of Anambra State while he was there? He kept reeling out wrong statistics. Of course, we know him for that. And he should be told that when he was there, the poverty rate in Anambra State, in fact, some agrarian communities in the state couldn't even get food stock out of their homes or their communities. IPOB was around then. So enough of these lies here and there.
Right. And I'm sure you want to react to what he has said.
I feel very, very disappointed that you call yourself a public affairs analyst. Honestly, I am totally disappointed.
That's the way you even started yours anyway.
Let me tell you.
So because we've not been to these agents
listen,
to be
I did not interrupt you when you were talking. When you come and be reeling off absolute gibberish, Peter Obi...
Choice of what?
No, let's face the
let's
fact.
be careful.
You have your choice of words anyway.
When you talk about Peter Obi's achievement, you want to mention his achievement? Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I can say it anyway.
Till today, as we speak in Anambra State, there are no single project in Anambra anyone can point at that Peter Obi achieved.
Listen to me.
But you are here seated in Lagos and enjoying Asiwaju's projects.
Okay.
Security we are talking about, go back to Southeast and enjoy security.
Okay,
Peter Obi is a leader of thought.
It's absolutely unfortunate that a commander-in-chief...
You don't come here to shout and say what...
Listen to me.
Because you want to support Peter Obi.
There is a commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
Right.
There is a commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
And you can't do difference.
Are we going to relegate him to the background and ask a mere Nigerian? Because as far as I'm concerned, Peter Obi is an ordinary Nigerian like you and I. You want him to come and...
with some level of influence engage with
No,
this
he's
people.
a Nigerian.
Right.
There's a commander-in-chief. If there's any breach in security in Nigeria, any part of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari is the man to hold to respond to account.
Absolutely right.
You cannot come and be saying that Peter Obi, an ordinary Nigerian like you and I, should be the one to address the issue.
What are the jobs or leaders of thought?
Let me finish, please.
What are the jobs or leaders
You
of
were
thought?
given 10 minutes to talk. Let me finish, please. Let's have some decorum.
I'm bringing you back
Let's have some decorum here. You call yourself a
That's
public
not-
health analyst, but you don't know how to have decorum. I listen to you carefully. When we talk about development strides, I don't know whether you are better than UNDP that gave him Millennium Development Goals #1 in the Millennium Development. It's on there.
UNDP is a foreign body.
United Nation Development
Nigerians, that's not the first project to be cited in the state.
Nigerian Bureau of Statistics
Right.
said clearly, it's on there, go online. Nigerian Bureau said that Peter Obi reduced unemployment in a number from 51% to 30%. I didn't say that. It's a Nigerian Bureau of
Those are
Statistics.
wrong stats.
Except you are, wrong statistics.
Very wrong stats.
Very good.
Yeah,
very good.
very wrong
Now,
Do you have the
no,
statistics?
it doesn't have. It doesn't have. It
Now,
doesn't have.
let me put you right. Let me put you right. Let me put you right. Let me direct you.
Listen.
Let me direct you. Let me direct you.
Let me finish.
Let him
Please.
finish.
Let me
Right.
finish. Because you were here, you could not make a single point. Let me make the points. Now, number one, Peter Obi he won Bill and Melinda. I've worked for Bill and Melinda Gates. I know how thorough these guys are. They are an international organization that don't move around.
Does all those translate our living today? Let's look at reality.
Peter Obi constructed the teaching hospital from scratch. Peter Obi,
Humongous task. Yes, nothing. We don't see anything on ground.
Hospital was constructed by Peter Obi from scratch.
Right.
Peter Obi, the Nigerian Ministry of Labor of Transport said that Peter Obi has constructed the highest number 800-kilometer roads. It's there. You are not the one that will talk. We listen. I am a scientist. I'm a clinician. Everyone knows that. I believe in statistics. Because statistics rule the world.
And that's
There's a saying that says, we believe in God, the next is data. Don't come here and be telling us something. You don't know anything. You are coming to tell me
Do you
that
have the right
It
statistics?
doesn't have.
That's the question.
You are coming here to tell me what you don't know, and you're saying that the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics is correct. You are the only person that is correct. Because I can tell anybody, I can tell the whole Nigerians, that there is no record anywhere. I stand to be corrected. If you prove me wrong, I'll leave this studio. That Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there's no record on Nigerian Bureau of Statistics that Bola Ahmed Tinubu made any development stride. But there are several records on Peter Obi. Peter Obi was the best governor in MDGs. He was the best governor in health. Peter Obi lifted education in Anambra State from number 26 to number 1. And you are here talking nonsense? We don't say that.
I have said
No,
it
you
earlier.
made me angry.
No,
We are trying to discuss
you
on
have
what.
to be careful
No,
with
no,
your
no, no,
choices.
no.
Look, this is
No,
antecedents of
no,
obedience.
nonsense.
We know them.
No, no, no,
If
no,
I'm
no.
on program with obedience,
Gentlemen.
I know how to handle them.
No, you don't
I
handle
know
them.
their antecedents.
Because anybody
becomes stupid. You don't listen to them. They don't listen to
You have to be
themselves.
careful with your choices.
And that is their life.
You don't come here and
You know,
say
so
that you believe in
this boy, realities are obedient, and that is the way they behave on everywhere.
Nigerian.
We need to go on
Okay?
a break. We need to go on a break now. Gentlemen, we need to go on a break. When we return, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. Before we went on the break, we were speaking about the Labour Party's presidential candidates outing at Chatham House in person of Peter Obi. And we have two gentlemen in the studio, Insecurity Ekanem and Ziggy Ibe, addressing the matter. And before we went on the break, I needed you to answer a question with regards to the data that Insecurity, spoke to, and you said that wasn't right. And I asked that, do you have the details? Do you have a contrary data?
Yes.
To that.
What I heard was, what I said, and I am holding to that, is the only thing Pete Obi achieved in his Anambra State was the pension he paid. Pete Obi, yes, he did not owe workers. But that wasn't his money. It was state money.
Okay.
Then other monies that he was talking about were all state-generated money, but then, sadly, he invested it in his own private business. And bringing the profit into the state coffer. In fact, that should be discussed on another, and that's corruption on its own.
Yes, that matter, I think, has been addressed.
Yes.
Yes.
So, okay, so apart from that, I was telling him, let us have a laudable project, one-on-one project, as we speak, because so many projects outlive those who cited them or those who constructed them and all that.
Right.
As we speak, can we have, because you're talking about UNDP, you talk about foreign bodies and all that. We are Nigerians, living in Nigerians, and we are saying, what has your principal done in Anambra State?
He mentioned DMO, which is Nigeria.
He went to Chatham House to reel out wrong stats about it. He was talking about elevating people in Anambra from a level to a particular level. And we are saying, we've not seen that. And I gave an instance. I said, Anambra is a state, an agrarian state. And in so many of those states, in fact, most of those states as we speak, were overtaken by flood. In fact, some states in Agwata and was it Boso, was all erosion, they were all eroded. In fact, so many roads in those areas are not passable. And we said we had someone who ruled the state past 8 years, who comes out to tell us he has done so much. Our issue is when you tell us you have done so much, let's begin to see those things you've done there. And not to tell me foreign bodies that came to raid him then. And comparatively, I said, in Lagos here, there are so many things that are still very much available that Tinubu has done. And we still see them.
Maybe you need to let him know.
He's hearing.
Okay.
And I said, one is security. Relatively, as we speak, you cannot have a free passage anywhere in Anambra State. Anambra is not free. Of course, every Mondays is declared free, sit at home. In Lagos here, you go to work freely. You have a nightlife here and all that. In his Anambra State, there's no nightlife. That's about security. I will say he's not the head of state, head of the government and all that. He is a leader. He is a leader who's supposed to have a higher ground to call these people to order, because he has promised that when he's there, if and when he's there, he will be able to tackle the insecurity. And we say, start tackling the insecurity now. He's not an ordinary person with, like me, like you said. He's not. He has more opportunities than I have.
Right.
And because of that, he knows what the problem is. Now, we are saying, when you say you know all the problems and how to tackle them, start now.
Okay.
There's an endemic thing in your state, and the state is right now not having it easy. Right. So, start it. He couldn't. And I said, I'm repeating some things I said.
Yeah.
And I said, look.
He was hoping you had figures to what you mentioned.
What happened is this. Let me tell you about Labour figures, Labour and their presidential figures. They reel out wrong statistics in order to confuse those who listen to them. We are beginning to say we don't need those figures because we have gone and verified them. Because at first it was go and verify. I'm coming. At first it was go and verify. We went and verified all those figures. They were wrong. I would say start mentioning them one by one. Tell us in Agwata, this is what I did. In your state, this Agulu, this is what I did. The road leading to Agulu, this is how it is. We heard recently that the road leading to Agulu has been cut off.
To him. All right.
Okay, let me list out a few things that my principal had done when he was in Anambra State.
Right.
First of all, he was able to renovate all the School of Health Technology. When he came into Anambra State in 2006, there was no accredited School of Health Technology. He was able to work, and before he left, about 10 were accredited by the council. That is what he did. The teaching hospital now, what we call Dimejojuku Teaching Hospital, was built from scratch. And today is functioning and it's working very well. Mr. Peter Obi, in terms of human capital development, was able to stimulate ICT technology within Anambra State. It's on record that he brought in about 30,000 pieces of computer sets and distributed it across all the schools so that young people and young students can learn ICT skills, which is what is invoked now across the world. It is on record too that Mr. Peter, all the schools had generators, good generators that would ensure that there's constant power supply. In addition to that, he also ensured that all the schools had school buses. This aid transportation of students to and from the school. In addition to that, Peter Obi invested in micro, small, and medium-scale enterprise, and that is why, of course, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics recorded that he was able to drop unemployment from 51% to 13%. You know, Peter Obi actually instituted what we call the three-level policing system at the state level, at the local government, at the community level. And in 2014, a man called the Inspector General of Police then, Mohammed, stated that over 5 years under Peter Obi's watch is on the Nation newspaper of May 19, 2014, I think something like that, on the Nation's newspaper. He said that for the past 5 years under Peter Obi's watch, that there has not been a single armed robbery. That is what Peter Obi did. And recall, too, that it was in the same Anambra State that the sitting governor was kidnapped, all right? And that was a level of insecurity in Anambra State. I could still recall that in some places in Anambra State, like Iweka Road, if you go there with your properties, you'll be stripped of all your properties because the level of crime then was high. One of the things Peter Obi did when he came into office was to do what we call poverty mapping. He was able to identify the issues, the challenges, what we call the risk factors, what is driving, you know, poverty within the, and he discovered that the fact that people did not have, you know, work, I mean, they were not gainfully employed,
right,
was one of the reasons why there was poverty. And he knew that poverty had a direct correlation with insecurity. And so when he was able to tackle the poverty in the state, to a great extent, he was able to address insecurity.
Right.
Now, what Peter Obi is promising us is this. If I could do it in a micro level, like, of course, the Holy Book says that if you are faithful in little, you'll be faithful in more.
Right.
If he was able to address human capital development, he was able to address insecurity, he was able to address poverty, he was able to address debt. When he came in, there was humongous debt. But
right,
Peter Obi was able to not only take care of the debt, ensure that by the time he left, nobody was owed. And in addition to that, he left in the coffers of the state 75 billion naira.
All right.
I think that is the kind of thing that we desire of a Nigerian
Quickly before
president.
we let you go, earlier I asked how significant this outing at Chatham House is for the party in 2 seconds.
Okay. Well, it's giving us a global relevance now because
right,
we have seen the global community has seen that Peter Obi has the ideas and he has the action plans that if implemented when he wins, it will be able to catapult Nigeria from poverty to wealth. That's
what thank you,
he hopes.
Gentlemen. Public Affairs Analyst Ziggy Ibe and Organizing Secretary, Labour Party, LGA, Nse Abase Kanem, for your time on the program.
Thank you so much.
Gentlemen, take it easy.